importance of history is not felt in day-to-day life. Until and unless you choose a particular topic and read from multiple perspectives, or there is a newspaper or a social media controversy stating that the government is attempting to change certain critical points in a textbook, we rarely worry about history. But the book which we are about to review today is something which delves deep into the subject and is trying to understand what exactly is history. Hi, this is Gautam, and for this review, we are going to look at this non-fiction modern classic, What is History by E.H. Carr. Now, this book is a compilation of a series of lectures and was first published in the year 1961. So, what we have in this modern classic is that Carr tries to establish the cardinal principles or the cardinal questions which we have with the field of history in these several lectures. The first principle deals with the fact that facts alone do not make history. For that, let me read page 19, where he puts forth his argument. Carr writes, "When you read a work of history, always listen out for the buzzing. If you can detect none, either you are tone deaf or your historian is a dull dog. The facts are not at all like fish on the fishmonger's slab. They are like fish swimming about in a vast and sometimes inaccessible ocean. And what the historian catches will depend partly on chance, but mainly on what part of the ocean he chooses to fish in and what tackle he chooses to use. These two factors being, of course, determined by the kind of fish he wishes to catch. By and large, the historian will get the kind of facts he wants. History means interpretation." The second question or the principle deals with the interplay between individuals and society. Now, it is true that individuals are distinct, but when you use terminologies to represent a group, the group might have a characteristic. For example, let's take terminologies like Indians or Americans or Japanese. They do have a common trait. So Carr tries to convince, or he tries to argue that an individual is a product of his or own society. So the historian is part of the society. So being the individual, the society influences him on how exactly to think, which means the history which he produces, one way or the other, will definitely have the influence of where he comes from. The arguments and principles which follow are equally challenging, and it's quite difficult to arrive at simple conclusions. For example, he says that he tries to draw a parallel between science and history. Now, at the outset, even though it might sound bizarre because you're talking about arts and science, the idea is, he says that how history's methodology of inquiry is slowly beginning to resemble scientific temper and scientific reasoning. So we have that argument on one side, and we also have this issue of the relationship between past and present, that if you're trying to interpret the past one way or the other, the present socio-economic conditions or political conditions will definitely play a role. We inquire on the struggles between understanding contemporary personalities and personalities which lived possibly 700 years or 800 years earlier, because the impact of contemporary personalities is something which we might be facing even in today's world. Of course, we do have the historical personalities, but contemporary personalities are more relatable, which means there is a tendency to pass harsh moral judgments on the ones which are, or even harsh praises, even if it is going to be positive, on the personalities who are very, very recent. Now, talking about personalities, we definitely understand that an individual is a product of his time, or individual's success or failure is a product of his time. So let's take Hitler or Stalin. If they were born maybe 200 years earlier, then things or history would have been definitely different. So does it mean that the role of an individual is extremely less when compared to the society or time? So that is one investigation. We also have this question of accidents. How far can we say that history is a result of a series of accidents, or was it really something concrete made because of results from several politico-socio-economic factors? So these type of investigations really make you appreciate how complex a subject like history is. So that's it for today's review. Do enjoy the modern classic. Bye for now.